How's it going, everyone? This is Trixx from Meta of Smash, and in this video we're going to be talking about when and why you should go for a stock trade. Fire! So for those of you that don't know, a stock trade is when you go for an option you know you won't be able to recover from, but you'll also be able to take your opponent's stock very early. Whenever we see plays like these, we often think that they're very flashy and very exciting. However, they're also quite optimal. In some cases, it can allow you to win the game, or in other instances, it can allow you to make a huge comeback when you're losing. By going for a stock trade here, both players would return to the stage at 0% with 2 stocks, and essentially reset the momentum. So when should you go for a stock trade? When is an option like this actually the optimal thing to do? There are quite a few situations where you could go for a stock trade, but I'm going to try and break it down into 3 scenarios. Number 1, and the least risky, is when you have 1 or more stocks than your opponent. Number 2 is when the stocks are even, but you're losing by a considerable amount by percent. And number 3 is where a stock trade could win you the game. Notice that in all of these situations, when you're going for a stock trade, you want to be at a very high percent. The reason being is that there's a very good chance that you're going to lose your stock anyways, so you might as well go out with style. In my opinion, the only time you'd ever want to go for a stock trade at low percent is if you are 2 stocks ahead. You don't want to throw away a fresh stock with the possibility of your opponent making a comeback. And now I want to quickly leave you guys with an example of how a stock trade can mentally shift your opponent's thinking during a set. I was fighting a very aggressive Lucina player in Elite Smash, and I found myself losing quite early on in the set. They were very aggressive with their edge guards and weren't afraid to go off stage and chase me. And because I saw this, I decided to go for a stock trade with a very risky play, but it happened to pay off. Of course, this was very risky, but based on the tempo and how the game was going, I had a strong feeling that I was going to lose my stock first. So because I went for that stock trade and I wasn't afraid to do so, look at how this Lucina player edgeguarded me for the rest of the match. After that one encounter, this player became a lot more passive and opted to go for a lot more ledge traps rather than edgeguards. And even after I had made a mistake, they still opted to let me get on stage for free. My only thought is that they started to respect my offstage game and they understood the consequence of getting too crazy offstage, which ultimately allowed me to open them up and take the lead. And then now that they are down a stock, things got even more rough. They did go offstage here since they were at 0%, but once again it turned into a punish. As the game progressed, I found myself with a considerable lead and much less pressure at the ledge every time I got knocked off stage. They seemed very content with allowing me to take back stage control. And in the process, they even got punished for it. And then finally, they did get me off stage one last time, and they did try and go for a stage spike, but thankfully I got the tech and it cost them the game. But now let's take a look at the second game. I'm gonna fast forward to the first kill, which ultimately sealed the game. After this stock, this game turned into ledge trap after ledge trap after ledge trap. They could not for the life of them get back on stage. I know you can't chalk this all up to the stock trade in the first match, but this is definitely not the same Lucina that we saw in the first game. Their entire approach and aggressiveness is entirely different. And in my opinion, this player was actually quite good, but ever since the stock trade, they were shook. And they began to play much too safe, especially for a character with a sword. The stock trade at the beginning of the set influenced their entire behavior moving forward, and ultimately gave me the win because they were afraid to go off stage. So what are your thoughts? How do you guys like to use stock trades? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. And once again, this is Trixx from Meta of Smash, and thanks for watching the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this.